Oh, hello everyone, it's Susie Crypto Granny here. The date's the 22nd of the 12th, 2022, and the time in Europe is 18:41 p.m. My God, it's 3 days to Christmas, everyone. How exciting. And yeah, some people have it on the 24th of the 12th, that Christmas Eve, but the Dutch have a different time for the kids. I think it's about the 9th of the 12th, which is really nice for the young children. So I forget what they call that, but anyway. Let's talk about the cryptocurrency market. Now, I've done a couple of YouTubes. Have a look at that, on YouTube under Crypto Granny. So please do look at that as well. And I've just covered the last 3 days or so where I've missed out on podcasts. Apologies for that. Been really, really busy. So let's look at the cryptocurrency market, just the stats and everything. Then we'll talk about the Bank of Japan, which is interesting, certainly in terms of interest rate policies. We'll talk about, obviously, the FTX SBF thing very briefly. Then we'll talk about what's happening in Brazil. Lots of things are happening in Brazil. We'll talk about Coinbase, Binance. Then we'll talk about Polygon. We'll also talk about, I spoke about Waves. We'll also talk about Visa's plans to enable automatic bill payment through cryptocurrency wallets. That came out a couple of days ago. We'll talk about Ripple and MGO, MoneyGram. We'll also talk about other things related to Ripple. Twitter. We spoke about Paxful saying that they were going to delist Ethereum because they believed it wasn't decentralized. We mentioned Celsius and Chainlink, and that's pretty much it. And then anything else that I glean from these markets going forward, and just look very quickly at the fiat market as well, the risk markets, equity markets particularly, and other fiat type markets as well. So let's get on with cryptocurrency. Market cap at the moment is a very low 810.959 bill. Volume's extremely low at 18.920 bill. Liquidity is very low at 2.716 bill. Bitcoin dominance is 39.47%. It has been edging up slightly as the cryptocurrency market has gone down in price, and you expect that. Bitcoin at the moment is 16,636. Ethereum is 11.87. Binance 241. XRP is 34 cents. And very quickly, where's Polygon? Matic is 77 cents. The crypto market is down. It is selling down. It's obviously selling down on higher yields in interest rate markets. The equity market is also selling down a bit. The Dow's at 32,706, down 721 points at the moment. And we do see, a few of the commodities coming off and under pressure. Gold particularly at 17.93. Interest rates are still going up, and we did see a big move in yen against US 2 days ago. US yen's at 132.34. Now the yen went up because 2 days ago the Bank of Japan came out and literally adjusted their policy. On Tuesday, it sent jolts through the market by adjusting their bond yield control policy. The Bank of Japan has had yields under a controlled policy in terms of a target range for some time, probably about, 10 years at least that I can remember. The Bank of Japan Governor Kuroda said that the yield curve on a 10-year government bond could move more than 50 basis points on either side of the targeted rate of percent. Now, their previous stance was a 10-year yield bond in Japan could move around 25 basis points from the middle section, right? So 25 over or 25 basis points under. What the Bank of Japan have now said is we want higher interest rates, and they basically move that target to 50 basis points rather than 25 basis points or 0.5%, okay? Now that got yields in Japan selling off, in other words, price going down, yields going higher, and when you have a yield going high in Japanese denominated deposits, you get the yen moving higher, which it did on Tuesday, and the US moving lower. So subsequently that rate, US yen is 132.32. Before this, the US rate was roughly about 137. So the US yen currency, spot currency, moved down about 500 basis points, or the big figure 5, from 137 to 132, okay? Now, if you also look at the swaps curve, the Japanese yen swap curve, and that's an A+, the US is a AA minus, that swap curve also moved up to 80 basis points, which is above the 50 basis points. So what we're seeing is interest rate yields going up in Japan. Remember that the Japanese interest rate curve has been negative for a long time, negative yields. And now the Japanese come out and said we want to make this a positive yield curve because they do have inflation in Japan, which has always been deflationary, and inflation's above 3%, which I think is very interesting. Now, we need to pay attention to this because these yield curves in Japan have been very low yield for a long, long time, and we need to watch the Japanese yield curve too, as well as the US, as well as the UK, the Australian, the Chinese, and whatever. There's so much stuff to look at in terms of markets when we talk about cryptocurrency markets as well. We need to look at fiat markets too and the risk metrics in fiat markets. So subsequently, we saw US go down, yen go up, interest rates go up right across the board in Japan and everywhere else, and we saw the Dow US 30 come down, okay? And that's what happens. When yields go up, the equity market comes down in price. Just like yield product price goes down and yields go up, okay? It's a direct correlation in that sense, right? So we need to keep a very good eye on that. So their targeted rates of change, and they're basically saying we now have year-on-year inflation at 3.6% year-on-year, albeit it is low compared to the US, which I think the last read was about, off memory, 7.1%. And even in the UK, inflation's still double digits, right? So we do need to keep a very close eye on this. This is very important. Now, just to update you guys, my patrons on SBF and FTX, sick of the whole damn thing. Apparently, he's he signed the extradition notices to go back to the USA. Apparently, he was looked after very well in the Bahamas. He had, basically TV. He had his magazines. He had his papers to read. He got his apparently a vegetarian, so he got his vegetarian food and all this sort of thing. So he wants to go back to the US because he feels that he can get bail in the US, SBF. Now, Caroline Ellison and another fellow, Mr. Wang, that worked at Alameda Research, have pleaded guilty, and they're cooperating with the SEC and the legal regulatory forces in the US, which is interesting because they're giving them a lot of information which could be at the detriment of SBF. So we just have to wait and see what happens there. Absolutely. Now, I sent out a video Brad Garlinghouse, XRP, and what his thoughts were about SBF, FTX, and was comparing it to the fiat market investment banks, and saying the investment banks have done lots more fraud and lots more crime than this particular story with FTX, and it's only because the SEC are really focusing on cryptocurrency organisations and trying to kill them, literally. Now the SEC's come out and said FTT is a security. I mean, this is like the horse has already bolted, fair income. Why didn't they say this ages ago, honestly? And they're coming out suing everyone. The SEC is looking at even auditing firms like Mazars that, audited all the proof reserves, and now the auditing firms are under SEC scrutiny. I mean, fair income, the SEC just wants to regulate the whole cryptocurrency market and kill it. Seriously, they don't even look at the technology. And this is what makes me so cross and wild, people. Seriously, they do not look at the cryptocurrency technology. And I just, my feeling on the SEC, I think they're absolutely outdated and haven't got a clue about cryptocurrency technology, particularly Ripple XRP and what it does, right? It is very, very frustrating indeed. So get those YouTubes on my channel, Crypto Granny. Make sure it's the right Crypto Granny, because apparently there's another one out there and I'm nothing like her. She's American and she talks about her bills, which is sort of funny. But anyway, it's not me, guys and girls. I've got an Australian accent and it's Susie Crew, okay? So let's get on with this. Now, Glees Bitcoin Exchange acquires blockchain as it expands into Brazil. Now, why is this important? So much stuff is going on in Brazil at the moment. Brazil has 214 million people. Their currency is performing terribly. It's going lower and lower and lower. People don't want to be in the Brazilian, I think it's Real, their currency, because of government bad politics and bad finances and fraud and God knows what else, right? So we're seeing a lot of action in Brazil at the moment, a lot of action. They've also taken over Blackstone, including their native coin BKT. And, this is great because Glees, actually, interestingly enough, is an Estonian exchange, and they're actually going into the Brazilian market, which is huge, okay? So very, very good for them. We've seen other people in Brazil and Ripple's in Brazil, Binance in there, a lot of people in Brazil, and a lot of things are going on in Brazil at the moment. Coinbase receives a virtual asset services providers license from Ireland, so that's good for them. Very good for them, actually. Binance was listed on OKX, and OKX went up because of that. OKX and Binance Exchange are friends, okay? They're both friends. They know each other very well. They're Chinese, Chinese heritage, but, born in other countries. And that's a great story for Binance. Binance also joins the US Lobbies Group Executive Committee, and it's I think it's called more. It's to build regulatory framework, but it's more the Chamber of Digital Commerce, right? Digital assets, right? They're a new member of that, and they join to produce a regulatory framework that supports cryptocurrency and other firms within cryptocurrency. Other people that are there at the moment, other organisations, I should say, are Visa, Ocoin, Deloitte, and Circle. So it's great that Binance is on that regulatory environment. Now, Polygon founder Sandeep Narwal launches Web3 Accelerator Beacon. Polygon are doing amazing things in Web3. They have more apps than Ethereum. Yes, I'd rather own Polygon at 77 cents than Ethereum at 11.87. Absolutely, right? Also, Japanese giant Gree, Gree, is basically running nodes of Polygon, which is super for them. Gree, which is a very large Web3 social network site in Japan, is operating nodes and validators on the Polygon network, which is a great story for Polygon, okay? And that is really good. They've also got Avalanche on there as a node operator on Polygon's network, and also a big gaming firm called OASYS. So that's a great story from Polygon. I love Polygon. It's a blue chip. It is a fantastic story. Now, I mentioned waves in the future, my video today about futures, and the founder, rightly so, says the futures market is killing his coin, and he's asked exchanges to list the futures market. The cryptocurrency market is too small. It's only 810.833 billion people. Futures in the fiat market for bonds, for example, the bond market didn't get futures until it was at least 80 trillion or more, right? 50 to 60, 70, 80 trillion. We're not even 1 trillion, okay? And it should never have been allowed. Now, I want to talk about Visa. Visa plans to operate and enable an automatic bill payment service through crypto wallets. What a great idea. It has a proposal that users may be able to automatically pay their phone, utility bills, subscriptions, Netflix, whatever, through your own self-custody wallet. I think this is a super idea because you can use your private keys, right, as your, PIN, and it's incredible security. They want to do this. They're introducing this by the 20th of December, and it would enable providers to automatically draw money from their wallets, whether it's powered by, whether you've got a wallet with, XRP in it or whatever, and you can basically authorize it to make payments. I think this is absolutely sensational idea. I really do. They're going to be using smart contract technology, self-custody wallets called delegable accounts, which is based on the account abstraction that you own your own private keys and everything else, okay? This is a seriously great idea. This idea was introduced by Ethereum's co-founder Vitalik Buterin in 2015, and it combines cryptocurrency self-custodial wallets with smart contracts in a single account. Visa is going to use Starknet, a layer 2 blockchain that sits on Ethereum platform for this. I mean, it's a great story for Visa. I just don't know why they didn't use RippleNet, seriously, which is a lot cheaper than Ethereum, which still suffers with increased costs of gas when it's busy, and you never know when it's going to settle. I don't know why Visa didn't use RippleNet. Seriously, much cheaper. It's green. It costs you nothing. You don't have to wait for it within 3 seconds you get your cash or your transaction. So Visa should be looking at RippleNet for that. That's the truth. Now let's get on to Ripple. MoneyGram. We remember MoneyGram was a client of Ripple, and then they went to Stellar, which was a big mistake by MoneyGram as far as I'm concerned, because Stellar's doing nothing, okay? It's a bad copy of Ripple, okay? They use Ripple's technology. So MoneyGram launches online remittance platform in Brazil, another thing happening in Brazil, right, where there's 214 million people. They launched a MoneyGram online. They've got a partnership with Ripple's partner and client, Frente Corretoro, okay? And Frente Corretoro, which is a client of Ripple's, uses RippleNet and XRP, right? So now MoneyGram has got a partnership with Frente Corretoro, which is great for XRP, okay? Fantastic. And they're getting real-time, functionality and movement of transactions. It's really, really good for Ripple. Now, the next lawsuit that I can glean, that I can work it out what's happening, is the big date is apparently the 13th of January 2023 for Ripple versus the SEC. And it's to do with the Dabbit motions that I spoke about on one of my YouTube. So please do have a look at that, okay? Also, millions of XRP have been moved from Bitstamp onto another exchange. Been moved to Bitstamp from Bittrex, and apparently it was done within a smart contract. Also, wrapped XRP is being done on Binance Smart Chain. It's become very popular among the whales, extremely. And, apparently there's 500 smart contract platforms on the Binance Smart Chain for XRP, wrapped XRP with the whales. I think that's quite amazing. Now, also a top Dubai real estate agent developer, Kentora Reserve, is also using RippleNet and XRP. XRP is getting more and more utility. It's got more and more clients. It's a fantastic, fantastic story. Now, very quickly, Twitter, Musk is looking for a CEO. He put himself in it the other day. On Twitter, he asked people, should I step down as the CEO? And 57.5% of people said yes. So he's put himself in that. Edward Snowden said, I'd do it for Bitcoin, but I don't know where that's going. Also, Mr. Musk is looking at firing more people at Tesla as the economy in the US and globally slows down. We also find that Goldman Sachs, another big investment bank, is saying they're going to get rid of 8% of their employees in January of next year, which is next, another week away or so. And they have 49,000 odd employees. So that's a big percentage of the employer. They're going to cut at least 4,000 people right across every division because things have slowed down quite dramatically, okay? Going back to Twitter, apparently they've put on their dollar cash tags and, which brings up pricing of anything you put there, right? If you put dollar BTC price will come up with a graph. Twitter also talking about $8 subscription, which is blue, but there's also other memberships, gold and grey. And as you know, they were talking about extending their messages from 280 characters to even more. So, it's very interesting. Now, I also mentioned Paxful and Ethereum. Paxful said they're not decentralized, and I agree with that. Celsius have potentially 30 bidders to buy their assets. There is some suggestion and rumour that some clients may get their money back, which is great. Chainlink's put on more and more clients with their price. Oracle, they're doing extremely well. Just a very quick comment about the equity markets. They have been selling off quite dramatically since the yen interest rates went up, okay? So the equity markets don't look very good at the moment. Tesla's down about 10% as we speak. The Dow is down about 2.1%, down 700 points. And the market is just selling off because yields are going up, which is not great for crypto either. But, crypto to me looks extremely cheap. It's so cheap. And again, guys and girls, I've said this before, I'm a hodler of crypto. I don't sell anything. I'll hold for 5 years until these cryptos that I'm in, specific cryptos, get to a level where I think the valuation is consistent with the underlying fundamentals of the business's revenue, its growth prospects, its goodwill, how many clients they have, the utility of the coin, how many addresses, blah, blah, blah. It goes on forever. Anyway, guys and girls, that's enough for me today. I hope you're all well. Get ready for Christmas. How exciting. Hope it snows in Amsterdam. It's the second. If it does snow, I've only seen snow twice in my whole life being an Australian. So should be quite exciting. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon and have a very good night. Thank you.